All right, everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Then again, we're back. Show number 2, Under the Scope. I'm your host. I'm your girl, Kimberly B, Deshauna K. Deshaun K. You can call me what you want to. Just don't call me late for dinner. All right. Thank everybody for coming back. And I know we still have people going in. This is Under the Scope. It's a vision that I have, and I'm hoping that it takes off. And the purpose of Under the Scope, I like to call it a scopecast, because the scopecast is like in between a podcast and Facebook Live. So I want to be able to have dialogue with people and have people chime in, but I also want people to be able to look at these influential people that I'm talking to on the show. And these people are influential people in the community to share their stories, their talents, and most importantly, how their platform supports mental health. That's key right there. So I have a few scope keeping rules so we can keep this train moving, because this is a power hour and we stick to the hour. First rule is be patient with me, okay? Because now today I'm having to do the chat. I'm having to look at the screen, let people in, and keep my little light on, y'all. The struggle is real. This is a no judgment zone, so people can say what they want to say, how they want to say it, as long as it's not inappropriate. So we'll have views from everybody, so you can either agree or disagree. Under the Scope is for conversational, educational, and inspirational purposes only. It's not a replacement for any higher level of care if you find that you need it necessary, especially some of the topics that we're talking about on Under the Scope. And everyone, please make sure that you mute. There's always one, but make sure when you come in that you on mute. And the way I like to do this format, because I've said it on Facebook, I like to give you an opportunity to ask the wonderful special guest questions. But how I like to do it is using your chat. We're going to hold all questions to the end. Use your chat, and you can just put your name, because sometimes you're coming in by the name of your phone, and I want to make sure I have your name, and then I'll say your name out according to how we receive the messages, and then feel free to ask the questions. Or if you prefer for me to ask the questions, you can just put your name in or put the question, and I'll ask our guests. So that's how we're going to go. So we're getting ready to press the gas. Thank everybody for coming and everybody that's coming along. So episode number 2. So last week, whoever joined us, we know Dr. K brought us in, and it was great. Special guest number 2, really special to me, the beautiful, the lovely Nicole Conway. And so I'm not going to read our bio, but I will say that we were classmates, back in our heydays when we were glamorous. Now we're glamorous divas. And I've been like just stalking her through the years on Facebook, because she's just amazing. She's a model, she's a wife, she's an entrepreneur, she's an author. I mean, everything. And one of the things I really like about her that I followed all this time is that she loves to talk about mental health too, and she's an advocate as well. So without further ado, Nicole, I have ushered you in, Queen. I turn the floor over to you. Can you give us a little something about yourself?
I will. My name is Nicole Conway, previously Cunningham when you knew me in high school. I moved to Austin, Texas when I was 10 years old with my mother and my younger sister, which is 8 years apart from me. My mother she wanted to move to Texas so she can go to the University of Texas to get her PhD in counseling. Imagine that. Um, so she was a counselor at Austin Community College for over 30 years. She recently passed on Good Friday. And since then, before even any of this, I didn't think that was going to be my role in life. My thing was, I want to be a fashion stylist. I want to be a buyer and the whole nine. But my mom was like, no, you need to go to school for business. So I was like, whatever. I did not finish school. I went to Grambling for 1 year and I came home. But anyway, I have 2 adult children, 28 and 24. I have 3 grandchildren. They're all girls. I have nothing but girls around me. And I was married 4 years ago. We've been together 5 years. And we actually met online.
Wait a minute, they met online, but let me tell you a fun fact about it, Nicole. I got to jump in. They're both my classmates. I went to school with her husband in junior high and went to school with Nicole in high school.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I just had to throw that in. I thought that
But
was amazing.
we both went to rivalry schools. He went to Reagan, I went to LBJ. We never crossed paths. We didn't live far from each other, but I've never seen him in my life. So it was fate that brought us together. Since then, we have run for city council in Austin, Texas. I was his chief of staff. I did not ask to do that. I don't care for politics. That's not something what I wanted to do. But when the Lord says something, you got to do it. So that was my role. As far as my mental health things, I went through three nervous breakdowns between the ages of 20 and 30. I was a single parent with two children by myself, struggling, trying to figure out what I was going through, what was happening with me. And that is what brought me to becoming a mental advocate for anybody that's in the dark. I know what it looks like when people talk to me. I can, girl, you need to get it together. And even if it's just a little girl talk, it doesn't have to be biblical or anything. Sometimes you have to reach people in different ways, and I do whatever I can to help them get the resources that they need to be a better person.
All right, awesome. I like that. So everyone, I'm trying my new share screen. So me and Nicole chatted yesterday. It was just like old times, everyone, or I mean mature times. Sorry, because when you move up there, it was just glamorous times.
Oh.
So one of the first questions that I asked Nicole was my light, the devil.
It's
Sorry, y'all. One of the first things I asked Mr. Cole was about this, and I want to show everybody.
uh-oh.
I asked all of my guests on the show for a headshot, and she sent this picture, and I was like, "Whoa, okay." So I'm trying to make my own flowers. I don't know how to do the headshot, but I was like, can you send me another picture? And I said, well, wait a minute. I love this picture. It was something about this picture that just attracted me to it. And I said, I needed to make this picture work. And I wanted everybody to see the picture that she sent me. Granted, it was on the fly, but I wanted to give you another look at it. So, Nicole, why that picture?
Okay, so I took that picture last year. I was about to turn 50, and I wanted some pictures to commemorate me hitting 50. You know, that's a blessing to hit 50 years old.
Amen.
So I was visiting home in Texas, and we have a photographer that we had during the campaign, and he takes amazing pictures. And I said, I'm just going to create this photo shoot. So I picked the spot. We went into the hangar, and that's where that is. It's under an old hangar that was at the old airport in Austin. And we just did different pictures around that little area. So the other thing was just showing women it doesn't matter how old you are, what size you are, you can be whoever you want to be, you can create whatever you want to create. And that was just kind of like my freedom picture and entering into the age of 50. So that was more for me than anything. So now I use them for everything I do.
I love it. I'm glad that you shared that story about the picture because that was very amazing.
Oh,
And so,
thank
one
you.
of the first areas I want us to tap into, and we'll keep the train moving, of course, is that you're a model. Can you share your experience as a model and still as a model?
So I grew up with self-esteem and self-confidence issues where people always compare, especially in our Black community, me to my sister. She's very fair skinned, long hair, and you know, I hate to say it, but we are very biased when it comes to the darker child and the lighter child. And
Hmm.
not so much my mother, it was the people that we came in contact with. And it was, oh, she's so pretty. And then they would look at me and just smile. And my mother would always fight and say, both of my children are pretty. Well, because of that, I grew up with a complex thinking I wasn't enough. I was too fat. I was too dark. My hair was nappy. So I grew up with that. I had a bully in junior high. I went through all of that. So carrying that, people don't realize that when that little girl inside of you has not been healed, you carry her with the rest of your life. And
Hmm.
different triggers come along to make you feel like you're inadequate. So 10 years ago, I got with a group called Curve Appeal, and they were a sisterhood that had different teams all over the United States. Well, we were, of course, the team for Austin, Texas, and we would come together every year for a national conference from all the different states. and we would build each other up. We learned how to walk on a runway, how to carry ourselves, the proper foundation, makeup, hair, and the whole nine. But more than anything, it was a sisterhood to build each other up, and we were all plus size women, all different sizes and shapes. So I did that for me. I didn't do that for anybody else but myself, but I used the modeling as a tool that, no, I'm not trying to be the next America's Top Model. I'm not trying to do any of that. It was more so kicking the ceiling out to show women that you can do whatever you want if you set your mind to it. And it wasn't because I wanted to be a model. It was to build my confidence. And then when I came back from that, I said, you know what, I'm gonna try this out. So I kept on doing it, and that's what I do now. I don't do it all the time, just sometimes.
Right. I like when you mentioned about the little girl inside of you, because sometimes we don't realize how much that little girl impacts us as big
Oh,
girls.
yes. Oh,
And
yes.
if there's any men listening, because I know my dad's listening, you know, little boys and big boys, I just want to throw that in. Um, but we don't realize how that impacts us.
Mhm.
And do you want to elaborate more on that? I know we didn't talk about that yesterday, but do you want to elaborate more on the little girl?
Um, I guess growing up, I was very self-conscious because when I moved from Seattle to Austin, I was very proper, and all the kids would look at me and they would taunt me about being proper. And I had the little flipped out hairdo with the big glasses, and I played the flute, and I just did not fit in. My mother put me in the blackest school in East Austin, which was L.L. Campbell. You know where that school is, and I just didn't fit in. Like, I felt like a fish out of water. I had a bully. To me, I felt like she was 6 feet tall, and I was, just at that awkward age, I just didn't fit in. I went to Catholic schools all of my life, and then I moved to Austin, and then already having the issue of not feeling like you fit in, and then you go to, this pro-black school where people talking about ain't, and you don't know what is ain't. So it just was a huge transition for me to move from what I was, being sheltered to, look, I'm dropping you in this hot oil. You got to deal with this. And then navigating a bully and having my first fight. So there was a lot of things. There was a lot of trauma, not feeling inadequate, not feeling, that I was good enough. And then I had a surgery where they removed a cyst from my spine. So there's a lot of things that I can't remember. And I feel like there was some trauma that happened as a child when I was at a babysitter, and I can't remember it all. So just those things, not taking care of those things. And I really believe that's what made me basically my pot explode, to sort of say, when I had my nervous breakdown, but I didn't know what that was. And
Right.
not doing the work, that little girl stays unhealed. That old trauma was never taken care of, but I have done the work. I still have work to do. I mean, I'm not perfect by any means, but I still have to take care of that little girl, because there's things in me that pop up, and I'm like, oh, I still haven't healed from that. So not taking care of the child inside of you leads into a lot of things in your relationships and your friendships and just daily living, period.
Exactly. Can I say that this therapist right here has a therapist, and I tear my therapist up? Uh, I'm probably one of her worst clients. All she does is laugh at me. So I hope it's a good thing. But when you talked about that little girl, and I can share some of the story with you, and that's still my struggle with not feeling like I fit in. Like I told you yesterday, that I said when I even thought about launching this right here, I wanted to do it once or twice, and I know Choice can probably tell people, and Sade too, that I wanted to climb back in the box.
Mm-hmm.
This is enough. This is too much. My anxiety's through the roof. It's through the roof right now. But I'm like, no, I'm trying to challenge that little girl now. And I talked about the little girl yesterday.
Yeah.
And you bringing up your story makes me think about you being an author. And I have the book, everyone. It's called Coco's Chronicles. And I'm not for sure if everyone can see it, but I got to show you the next picture. All
You're putting
right.
me on blast
I'm
today, for
putting
real.
you on blast. Yep. So let's see. Can everyone see the picture? I don't know if I need to make it bigger, but her book, Coco's Chronicle. And the question I asked her, because I'm fascinated with her pictures, was I said, I like this picture. It seemed like it symbolizes freedom. And she explained it to me, and I want her to share it with you all. Uh-oh.
Okay, so that cover came from me and my husband got married on the beach in Port Aransas, Texas. And some friends, it was just me, my husband, and another couple. And the woman actually got the certification to marry us. So we had a whole little setup with that little fabric blowing in the wind. So at the end, we were taking pictures, and I just grabbed the fabric and it was blowing, and the picture turned out so pretty. I didn't take the picture for, anything but for the wedding. And then when it was time to pick a photo for my book, I said that would be perfect because I'm not telling all of my story. I'm sharing my testimony. I'm sharing my poetry. I'm sharing a part of my life. And that's a freedom for me. So that picture was perfect for the book. So that's where that picture came from.
I like it. I wanted to share one of the excerpts out of it because what she said, it chronicled her life. It's poems in here, and it's some of her little testimonies. And one, it's real short, real brief. It's called Aspire to Live and Dream Higher. And this, I was looking through the book and I came to this page and I was like, okay, she's coming on the show. And I think that this connected and it resonated in my spirit. It says, aspire to live and dream higher. Aspire to live and dream higher. Planes ascending from airport lanes, climbing towards the sky, touching clouds, eluding vows of mistrust, anguish, life's rush. Don't trust every magazine you read, because surely it will plant seeds of deceiving and believing the lies written in black and white. Anorexic models describing that they are the quote unquote American dream. Stop walking around here in the daze trying to figure out where you fit in this crazy maze. Seeing it says, don't believe the hype. That this is supposed to be your type. You are a Black girl made in God's image. So don't beat yourself, cheat yourself out of your God giving. Write yourself a note every day that you are the baddest girl on the planet and you don't owe this world a thing. Sling your hair from side to side, watch the looks as you pass by, and wave to
She froze up.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, you froze up for a
I
second.
know, y'all, that's Scott's cable. I can't stand them. I have my hotspot coming.
It's
Did you
okay.
hear the question or do I need to repeat it?
I didn't hear the question.
So I was reading that aspire to live higher. I closed the book up. So, and you wrote it back in 2003, and I was asking, do you remember what happened during that time or what was going on during that time?
I think more than anything during that time, it was still the self-esteem thing, trying to figure out who I was, what I wanted to do, um, just trying to navigate through the depression and trying to figure myself out. So
Okay.
at that time, I was writing poetry. I was going to neo soul, reading, and the whole nine. Yeah, so those were a lot of poetry that I'd written, and I just kind of put them in a binder. And I finally said, well, I'm going to incorporate that in my book because that book is more of a compilation. So I have testimonies in there. I have poetry that I've written, scriptures as well as quotes. So when I interviewed with someone before previous about this book, they said it's
Mhm.
like having your sister girl sitting on the nightstand when you don't feel like reading the Bible. I was like, yes, I like that. So basically that's what it is. It's a daily read. You don't have to read it every day. There may be some things that resonate with you that is personal. It may be something that resonates with somebody you have a friendship with. It could be anybody, but that's why that book came along.
Awesome. Coco's Chronicles. All right. I like it. So, where can we find Coco's Chronicles?
It is on Amazon,
All right.
amazon.com.
All right. Because we may need that sister girl on the nightstand.
It's all right.
Moving into my favorite part, all of it's been my favorite part. It's better not freeze up again. We're moving into the mental health part of it. So, what does mental health mean to you?
For me, it's more of self-care, self-love, self-respect. It's going inside of yourself and figuring out who you are. And even looking at yourself every day and using whatever even the ugly parts are and working through those. Because when you have a mate, of course, you go through the suitcase with each other and you pull out things and you go through them piece by piece. But before that, what are you going to do as far as going through those pieces to help yourself before you meet that mate?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going through those pieces, even looking at the ugly things. So with my business card, it says Coco's image, and the eye is actually a mirror. And I use
Oh.
that as the eye because there's a lot of work I had to do in the mirror. And it's sometimes just standing in front of the mirror, looking at yourself when you don't feel that you're worthy or you're good enough until you feel comfortable about saying positive things to yourself. So I use that sometimes as an exercise when people reach out to me. Write a bunch of affirmations on your mirror, and when you're
Yeah.
brushing your teeth, read them to yourself so you can start pumping yourself up. You can't always wait for somebody to pour into you. Sometimes you have to pour into yourself. So that's what I believe mental health is, and it's a daily thing. It's not, oh, I'm gonna go get some help for 2 weeks and then I'm just great. That's a lie.
I know it's true. I know when I talk to some of my clients about affirmations are huge, and they like, I don't know. And I said, get in front of that mirror and say those affirmations to you, even if it's something as simple as I am enough,
Right.
I'm pretty, I can.
Mhm.
Even just mustering up, and they said, I feel crazy. No, don't feel crazy. That's you.
That's right.
Command your day. Command who you are.
I agree.
Because we use that same type of energy if we're talking about I'm not worthy, no one cares, we can just boast that out like nothing. So I'm an affirmations believer, and I believe in saying it. That's what's getting me through the
And the
little
thing is, people don't realize, I didn't mean to cut you off. People don't realize that the things that we say about ourselves come flying to us like a magnet. If we
mm-hmm,
say, when you get up and you stub your toe and you say, the rest of my day is going to be horrible,
mm-hmm,
the rest of your day is going to be horrible. But if you say, I stubbed my toe, but the rest of my day is going to be wonderful, I'm going to do things to go away from that, then it's going
right.
to change the trajectory of what's going to happen in your day. But it's up to you. You make the choice of how your day is going to be or what it's going to turn out to be.
That's so true. I also tell my clients, start your day like 5 minutes. I know some of us, if we think about it, we get up in the morning and we're jumping out of bed, getting ready. And then if it goes wrong and everything goes wrong, that also causes a bad day. And I'm like, pull that alarm clock back 5 to 10 minutes. Lay there, even if you have to do affirmations, prepare for your day.
Right.
Because I hear somebody, I wake up anxious. Well, prepare for your day. Get rid of that anxiety. Pray, meditate, whatever
Mm-hmm.
you need to do to take care of you. Because that's another way you can command your day.
I agree.
And then in your day, the same way. But when you go to bed, same thing. Prayer, meditation, the same way you started your day in your day. So
That's
you
right.
can get that peaceful sleep. So, yeah. So, can you share your journey with mental health awareness?
So I am a certified facilitator through NAMI, which is National Alliance on Mental Illness. I did a lot of training when I was in Austin in order to start facilitating group meetings, and now everything is on Zoom now. I didn't get a chance to really do a lot of work with it because we were going through the campaign, and then we moved here to New York, and now I'm starting to connect with NAMI New Jersey so that I can start getting into working with them, doing healing groups. So we just had a conversation about it. So after I come back from Austin, once again, we're going to go check on my children. Um, I'm going to come back and then I'm going to get busy with them once again because I really feel that there's a need, especially in our Black community, because we are told we are strong, you're resilient, what happens in the house stays in the house, you better not tell nobody our business. Regardless of what's happening at home, it could be something horrible. We are not to tell that. So we have grown up to believe that you don't talk about anything. You don't talk about mental health. That is white folks. That's the white
Mm,
folks disease. You don't need any help. They're gonna call you crazy. And the worst one for me is the Christian community. Nothing wrong with them. I love them dearly. But saying that it's a spirit and you come onto the church and let's pray that spirit off, that's not a spirit. That's a chemical imbalance. You can't pray a chemical imbalance off. You can pray that you get better, but along with me and Kim were talking yesterday laughing, the Trinity is, what did I say? Therapy, prayer, and some medicine.
Yeah. For some.
You can use all of those together. That does not mean that you are crazy. It is important. And for me, like Kim said earlier, I like to take time to meditate, whether I go for a walk and I listen to the word while I'm walking. It's enough that we have to be in the house all the time. So I try to get out and walk, put my earphones on, and I just do my thing. I have a whole moment. Come back, take a nice Epsom salt bath. I mean, you have to literally have time for self-care in order to stay on the right track, especially now. Because I catch myself, I have to go to the post office because I'm always shipping things that I'm selling. I have to put my mask on, and I'm standing there looking at people behind me like, you better not get close, or get back on your square. And then you can't breathe. It's just a lot of anxiety going on at one time when you're trying to just get out and come back in, or even the grocery store. It's a task every time you do something. And when you're dealing with depression or anxiety, it does not help the situation at all. It makes it, it intensifies it. It's like, I gotta hurry up and get home. And when you get home, you're anxious. And then it's like, well, what am I gonna do? So you have to find things that are good for you, whether it's meditating, yoga, going for a walk, reading a book, journaling is always great. Get on a Zoom call, have happy hour with a friend on Zoom call. I mean, we have to find different things, even double date. Me and my husband double date with some friends of ours in Philly. We get on, we have our dinner, and we sit and just talk about life. You don't have to be right in front of a person's face. And I'm an extreme extrovert. I love people. So for this is just too much for me. I like to be out talking to people and hugging and touching, and I can't do that now. So it's just a different time right now. Uh-oh, she froze on us again, y'all. But she's smiling.
She is smiling beautifully. Yeah, absolutely.
You sure? And she's back. Come on, Kim.
There she is.
Uh-oh, she froze again.
It's coming.
Yeah, it is.
I agree with you, Nicole.
Y'all talk amongst yourselves till I come back.
When you freeze up, we'll keep talking. Keep moving.
Keep it moving. Am I back, y'all?
You
Yes,
back.
you are.
Okay, 1 2 1 2. We back. Just kidding.
Microphone check.
I know, right? Is there anything else you would like to add as far as mental health before I ask you the question and open up the floor? Because we do have questions coming in.
I think it's very important that you are not in denial if you need help. If you don't want to tell your family members, don't tell your family members. Do it for you. Don't do it for anybody else but yourself, because your self-care, you know, when they say on the plane that you are to put the mask on yourself first and then you help others, that is so real. You can't help anybody. I was just talking to somebody recently, and she said she's always there for her family members and this, that, and the other, but in the process, she's suffering. She's sick. She's at home. She can't really get outside. She can't move. And it's like somebody taking a trash can and just dumping it all on you, even with your trash you already have, and you're just overwhelmed. You can easily tell somebody, I can't talk right now. I'm just not available mentally for you today. Call me tomorrow. Send me a text and we'll talk about it another day. You have to set your boundaries with people, because they will continue to keep coming and coming and coming. And you put on this mask like, oh, I'm strong, I'm good, ain't nothing wrong with me, I got this. Y'all can call me anytime. Well, sometimes you can't. Sometimes I'm having a bad day and I'm gonna have my whole day. My husband understands. When I'm having a bad day, just leave me alone. Let me have my moment. Let me have my moment, because when I come back, I'll be stronger. But the other thing is, it's okay to be not okay. If you having a bad day, have your bad day. Turn your phone off. Please turn social media off, because that's the worst one. You get up and you get on your phone, you be like, let's see what these people are doing. And you see something, and it's something on there, and you be like, I wonder if she talking about me. She couldn't be talking about me. And then you get that paranoia going, and we just, as women, we take on too much. We want to make sure everybody's okay. Are you okay? But the question is, are you okay before you're trying to help somebody else? But if you have a bad day, so what? Have your bad day. Have the curtains closed. Have your moment. I need my moment. Sometimes I just want to be mad. Sometimes I don't want to be bothered. And guess what? I take the entire day for that. The next day, girl, let's go. Am I bipolar because of that? No, I just had a bad day. I can have one. Because a lot of people reach out to me and they'll just keep pulling on you. And it's like, well, what about myself? When am I going to take care of myself? So my self-care days look like I'll get up in the morning. Some days I don't want to wash my face and brush my teeth, and that's okay because it's my business. But there's days where I go and run me a nice hot bath with some Epsom salt, candles, and a little jazz, maybe some wine, and it's all about me. I'm in there doing my manicure, my pedicure. I may hear my husband in here playing rock music, and it's like, sir, I need a minute, please. He's very versed in all types of music, and sometimes it irritates. Sir, I don't want to hear that. Can you put that in your ears? And you just have to demand sometimes, I need my space. Your kids, they pull on you all the time.
Yep.
Mama, I need this. Can you give me some money? Can you cash out me? Look, today is my off day. Wednesday's my day. I don't want to be bothered. I mean, pick a day, put it on your calendar and say, this is what I'm going to do for me. And tell everybody, look, I'll get you on Thursday. This is my day. I put a set schedule every week for me and my husband to have date night. It's mandatory every Friday night. I don't care if we're just sitting here watching TV. We watched Sugar Hill last night and went and got us some pho soup. That was our time. But you have to carve out that time for you too. Date yourself, girl. I used to get me a meal and have me a candle and sit there and pretend like, I was grand. Look, dressed up and everything for it. Can't you do it for yourself?
That's true. That's true. All right. So before we move on and open up the floor, I do have a question to ask. But before
Look, when we get to the questions, she freezes.
Every time.
Come back.
We're going to take up an offer for some internet. Some better internet faster.
am I frozen still?
You were.
It's coming.
Uh-oh. There it goes again.
All right. We got her.
Or move her to another room.
Huh?
Or
Yeah,
move
she
you
might have to
another
move to another
room.
room.
It's not. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My screen looks different, y'all. Okay. All right. So before I freeze again, Nicole, can you tell us about your amazing products, books, and anything else that you have available and how they can access it, your Facebook, Instagrams, all of that?
Okay, so I have a YouTube channel that I've been trying to start doing things like him is doing, where I interview people that may have dealt with anxiety or mental health. I have another one coming up soon that my husband and I are going to do because he's formerly incarcerated. So the mental health when someone is incarcerated as opposed to post-incarceration. There's still a lot of things that I see him do, and I'm like, sir. And like, I'll give y'all an example. I'm telling his business. Sometimes he'll be in the shower and he brushes his teeth in the shower because they had to, do everything really quickly. And I'm like, sir, you can brush your teeth at the sink. And he's like, I'm just, it's just a mental thing. So I want to talk to him about, I'm gonna interview him and ask him, well, what do you, as far as mental health is concerned. So my YouTube channel is Nicole R. Conway. There are some other Nicole Conways, but I had to put my R in the middle because they were at the top. I'm at the top now. As far as Instagram and Facebook, I am at Nicole Conway Speaks on both pages, as well as Twitter. And I am a stylist. So some people with the group, the plus size group, they went one way. Some people did makeup, some did hair. Mine was styling. I love to style people. I love to help them feel better about themselves. And in the process of doing that, we work on the inside so the outside will shine. So that is my motto as far as what I do. I will style you virtually. I used to, I can do closets, but right now we're on this pandemic, so I can't do closets right now. My business page is Coco's, COCO''S image on Facebook. On Instagram is COCOSIMAGE, because you can't do the apostrophe. So you can find me on there. I sell sunglasses, I sell accessories. If there's something coming up, maybe an event, or there's something you're trying to do a photo shoot, if you need me to do shopping, I can do virtual shopping. And how I do that is you pay me for my time, and then I go out and I curate different items for you to buy. And then that part, you pick whatever you want. I'll send you a whole bunch of stuff, but it depends on how much time that you pay me to go out. So that's what I do. I love to style people. I get excited. Some people hate shopping. I walk in the store and it's like the heavens open. It's, I absolutely love it. That is my passion. I love it. I love to help women at size 0 to 28. I don't care what size you are. You can look great at any size. So that's what I do.
Awesome. I'm frozen. Now I'm all paranoid right now.
You there.
I'm going fast because if I freeze again, Nicole, just answer the question.
We're just gonna ask questions to each other.
All right. So it says, do you have challenges with self-esteem related to being a single mother prior to getting married? Or do you think your mental health was impacted during the time you were single before you got married?
Okay, so when I was single with my children, my trigger months were November, December. Well, let's go back. October for my birthday, November for Thanksgiving, and December for Christmas, and then January for New Year's. I was single, I was by myself. In those months, I didn't realize, but that's when I would have my depressive moment. That's when it was the worst, because I was like, I'm single with these kids by myself. I don't have anybody. That was really hard for me. And even after I got married, because I had dealt with that for so long, it was hard. I went through abandonment issues and feeling like, oh, when I get married, he's gonna leave me. So it still resonated with me even after I got married. And it took a while. He kept telling, baby, I got you. Because I've been married, this is my second marriage, I got you. But my first marriage, he left. So I went through the abandonment again. So those months were trigger months for me. And yes, I still deal with self-esteem. Just because I'm a model or a stylist, I still have my moments, and sometimes I have a fat girl day. I know we all have our fat girl days. I still deal with that too. And then sometimes not feeling enough. I still go through that as well.
Right.
I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, I wanted to just kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, before I freeze up again. There is a such thing as seasonal depression that some people get, and it's called is it seasonal affective depression or something like that. That around those holiday months that people can actually get really depressed, either due to relationships ending, finance situations, because the holidays are coming, or it's just a happy time for everyone else, but because something unhappy happened to me, then I was impacted. So it's not a happy time for me. Right. And it typically lasts during those winter months, and it could be environmental as well.
That's true.
Yeah. Any other questions? The floor is open.
Oh, do I raise my hand?
Oh, you did raise. Yeah, you can go, and then I see your hand raised too, Joyce. So Stacy, you can go.
Okay, I just want to say I love you, Nicole. I don't know if you remember me from LBJ.
It's been a minute, girl. It was 30 years ago. I remember the name. I just don't remember your face.
No, that's okay. That's fine. Well, that's okay. I love you. I'm proud of you. And we also work together with the University of Texas op-ed program over there with last December or last November. You and your husband came over and did a little piece to encourage us on helping with writing our grant writing process. So I'm very proud of you. You are working hard. You're out here doing it. And I just wonder how you deal with the scheduling, because that's something that kind of is hard for me with time management.
So are you one that makes lists every day of the things that you have to do per day?
List every day? No.
You don't do the things to do and you got numbers on them? Because I used to do that all the time.
No, what I do, I use my calendar, you know, I have Kim in my calendar for every Saturday at this time.
Okay.
So I use my calendar. I guess the question is more of like when you have a set calendar and then you have something else that comes in, you know, I guess, you know what, I'm about to answer my own question. Because you said earlier, just know how to say no. So.
No is a complete sentence. No, period.
Can I add with that, Stacey, along there before okay, I was looking to see if I froze up. Before then, when you're scheduling time and doing time management, just like Nicole was saying, make sure you schedule time for you. Mm-hmm. Schedule time for you, even if that means I'm going to just sit on my bum and do nothing. Schedule that time in. All right. So thanks. Good question. I'm glad
put it on your calendar because it'll ding and it'll make you accountable to yourself.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Hey,
she
girl.
Froze again.
Oh, I thought you were about to ask a question. She did freeze.
I am going to ask the question. She froze again. I don't know if she'll be able to hear me or not. So when your husband was running for office, what was that? What was that like for both of you? You know, because he's transitioning from one place to another place, and then you're going through that transition with him.
So when he ran for office, he had been praying about it, and he came home and brought that situation to me, and I said, "Do what?" Now, he didn't ask me to be chief of staff at first. He basically asked me about running. So I prayed about it, and we said, okay, we're going to do this. So eventually, I had to become his chief of staff because the people that we did have come into the fold decided that they didn't want to do it anymore. So it was me, him, and one of these guys that was his campaign manager that was on the side of the hill in Montana somewhere. And the three of us were working. He was doing websites. He was doing everything to keep the campaign going. We were the whole system. Let's just say that. So it was very stressful. I had a full-time job. I would come home, and then we had to do this. He had to go do speaking, and I had to put on my face just like everything was fine. It put a lot of stress on our marriage. It put a lot of stress on our marriage, and it almost cost our marriage. Let's just say that. But we were willing to stick it out because we decided to do this as a team, and we had to keep on going. We just forged through. We had a stalker. We had people tapping our phones. We had the whole nine. And you wouldn't think because it was the city council seat that it would be that political, but it's very political in Texas. Wow. It was a mess. People ask us every time he interviews, well, are you going to run for office? And he laughs. He said, if you ask my wife, she's going to say no. And that's a lot. If you run, and I told him, if you run again, I just want to be the pretty face. Don't ask me to do nothing.
Do you think it had to do with anything with his transitioning? Do you think that could have been played a part in, or do you think that's just the natural way for them to act?
What do you mean as far as transitioning?
You said, wasn't he formerly incarcerated? Mm-hmm. And he ran for office?
Yes.
Do you think that played a part in it, or that's just something they naturally do?
Well, for him being formerly incarcerated, we went through a lot of hoops in Texas because they were saying because he was formerly incarcerated, he couldn't run. We had to fight. I mean, we did a lot of fighting for him to stay on that ballot. So he had to prove, you know, that happened over 20-something years ago. I have paid my time. I've gone to prison. I'm out. I have reformed. I'm trying to help people to not go to prison, or if they get out, to stay out. And if they want to run, I want to set the path. Well, it actually became historical because we actually had to go fight, like in front of these folks, about if people that have previous crimes, and they were trying to make it, because his crime was so bad, they were trying to make it the worst. So we had to see in the paper, ex-con running for this, ex-con running for that. So when we actually filed our paperwork, we had come out the building and Austin American Statesman come running up to me. We want to get your information because we want to make sure we put you in the paper right and blah, blah, blah. And I said, off the record, can we talk? And she said, yes. I said, stop calling my husband an ex-con. He is previously incarcerated, and you keep making him out to be a criminal, and he has to keep reliving that every time you post it. So nobody's going to want to vote for him. She wanted to come to my house to interview us, and I had to set her straight. We're not going to do that. Well, my editor, I said, well, you need to get your editor together because that is not cool at all. And I said, if you want to come,
I said, no, that's not cool.
And I said, if you want to come to my house and interview me, you're going to have to fix it. And she fixed it.
That's good. Well, just so you know, I'm about reentry.
Oh,
so
good.
That's really, really exciting for me to hear, you know, and it just shows people what can happen after the fact. It doesn't mean it has to follow and be with you every time. So kudos to you guys.
Oh, thank you. And now he works we live in New York, and he works at ACLU for the national office here in New York.
Okay. Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
That was a transition in itself, Charles.
I always think everybody should hear the stories about when someone's doing reentry, previously incarcerated, because it lets you know you don't have to let that Campbell stay on your back every single time.
That's right.
It does not have to follow you through life, and that you can move forward and you can do good in the community.
That's right. You're exactly right.
So that's why I brought it up.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Come on in here, Kim.
I know I'm here on 2 devices. Anyone else have any questions? Anyone? No? Any closing remarks for you, Nicole?
Just make sure you take care of yourself first. It is not selfish to take care of you first. And anybody tell you that it is, you tell them no. And no is a full sentence, period. We have to learn to say no, because we're always telling people, yes, let me help you, let me do. No. I love you, but no. Just tell them. You don't have to be rude. I love you, but no. I'm not available right now. And it's okay not to be available.
It's
if you guys need any of my services, y'all know how to find me
now. Can you also give them your information again, Facebook, Instagram, since we're at the end?
Yes, so Twitter is Nicole Conway Speaks, as well as Facebook and Instagram. And then my business page is Coco's Image, COCOSIMAGE. I sell accessories and just things, things that we like, the ladies like. And then for YouTube, my channel is Nicole R. Conway.
All right.
I'm just going to find you on Kim's page as a friend, send your friends request, so that, because I'm in a lot of different groups, so that I can go out there and support you, because that's what I do. That's how I help my mental health. I go support other women.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Love it. Anyone else?
Look, Nitria is not saying a word. She's just.
I know.
I'm enjoying it. Thank you. I'm enjoying it.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm going to get the book. That's what.
Oh, thank you.
Coco's Chronicle. Y'all, I'm not coming off my phone, so I don't want to disconnect no more. I want to thank everybody for coming to Under Scope. It's episode 2. Hope you enjoyed it. Apologies for the technology. Got a hotspot coming. We won't have no more of that. I'm working on my Instagram page, thanks to Miss Nicole. I'm taking next Saturday off
for self-care. And then we'll be back on the 22nd with someone else on Under the Scope. Hope to see you on the 22nd on Under the Scope, where good tea and good reads are welcome.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for having me. I
Thank
appreciate you.
Thanks. And I'll be in touch, and I'll keep in touch with you, Nicole.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank everybody for coming.
You're welcome. Have a good day, guys.
Y'all too.
All right, take
Bye.
care.
Bye-bye. On to my next journey.
Jeez. Stupid.